We begin tonight with a new report from the 12 News I-Team taking a deep dive into the safety of dating apps. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Millions of people around the world go looking for love online, but not everyone finds a fairy tale ending.
The I-Team's Erica Stapleton found some research that suggests nearly a third of people who meet in person from a dating app encounter some form of violence.
This all started with a series we first reported over the summer called He Made Me Do It, where a match on a dating app went horribly wrong for Helen Simmons. And after reviewing the terms of use for several popular dating apps, I learned that safety is not guaranteed while swiping. What started as a swipe on a dating app.
It was all manipulation. There was no relationship.
Quickly landed Helen Simmons behind bars.
I was just so scared, and I just wanted to go home, but he wouldn't let me.
She was 18 when she moved to Phoenix in summer 2022 and said within a day or two, she met 22-year-old Matthew Jones on the dating app Tinder. Helen told us and investigators that she went over to his apartment willingly at first, but then said Jones wouldn't let her go. In the 2 weeks that followed, she said Jones abused her and threatened her if she didn't do what he said. Then she said he forced her into a violent jewelry store robbery. They were both arrested and later sent to prison.
I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Despite Helen's allegations of abuse.
Which made him have enough control over me to make me do something like that.
The I-Team learned that Jones has a history of hurting women, with prior convictions in California and Arizona. In fact, Jones had just gotten out of prison about 2 weeks before Helen said they met. Records show that conviction was for unlawful imprisonment and aggravated assault involving another woman he met online. Tinder's terms of use state that felons are prohibited from creating accounts, but that the company doesn't do any criminal background checks, and that Tinder is not responsible for the conduct of any member on or off the service. The same term's true for many popular dating apps. Earlier this year, a rep for Tinder said they didn't have a record of Matthew Jones or Helen Simmons. The rep did not answer any of our other questions, including how they keep felons from signing up.
I mean, it's definitely easy for bad actors to access dating apps. Usually it's just a first name and a phone number or an email address to create an account with no sort of security, safety screening, identity verification prior to that.
Catherine Kosmides is the CEO of Garbo, a company that used to partner with Tinder to help users with background checks.
And we definitely have seen individuals using dating apps as a way to find victims in a much easier fashion.
Certainly, this isn't everyone's experience on dating apps, but there is limited public data tracking violent outcomes. Researchers with the Australian Institute of Criminology found that nearly a third of people they surveyed reported violence at an in-person meeting after matching online. ProPublica published a similar stat in 2019, finding that 31% of women surveyed reported being sexually assaulted or raped by someone they had met through an online dating site. Kosmides said she ultimately ended the partnership with Tinder and stopped their background check service, in part due to challenges with the app platforms, but also with background checks in general.
How challenging is it to actually get a full record on a person?
I would say probably nearly impossible.
Access to public records varies state by state, county by county. Some places redacting important information, and it may cost you.
Here in New York, where I live, it can be $95 to run a single background check on someone. And that's $95 before I ever go on a first date or a first meeting with someone. And so it's really expensive data.
A rep for Match Group, Tinder's parent company, said in part that Tinder has a new partner to help with background checks in the United States called BrightCheck, and that Match Group uses other technology to help flag profiles with harmful images and language. The bottom line, even if someone comes up clean.
Just because someone doesn't have a record doesn't mean they're safe.
Which is why Garbo, dating apps, and other services lay out best practices, like having your own transportation, not sharing personal information, recognizing your boundaries, and taking things at your own pace.
So dating apps are very common, and I'm not saying they're a bad thing.
Matthew Jones is not facing charges on any of Helen's allegations and told investigators that everything was consensual. She's still processing what she went through, a hard new perspective from prison.
They can pretend to be somebody they're not, and that's what happened to me. So I hope that people can just be more careful, men and women, because it can happen to anybody.
The I-Team is still investigating violence in dating apps. If you have an experience to share, we hope you'll take our dating app safety survey. You can find it right now by scanning the QR code on your screen. You can fill it out anonymously with an option to leave contact information if you want me to follow up with you. In the newsroom, Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
Erica, thanks. New